Welcome into another edition of Let's Bet It. I'm Alex Glaze, joined by Jared Smith. Jared, how are we feeling on this Tuesday morning?
Feeling okay, but a bit of a weird morning. DraftKings had an outage this morning, so a bit of a disruption to my normal handicapping routine. I usually use them as an anchor for a lot of my walks props, especially. But other than that, pretty standard. The weather here in the East Coast has been fantastic this week. We got a rainstorm last night, but I mean, I feel like we're getting the summer vibes here up the eastern seaboard. What's the vibe in Baltimore like? You guys getting the good weather? You getting a little golf in this week?
I did played yesterday. Going to play again Saturday.
Nice.
A little annoyed because I had a 9:30 tee time yesterday, and we pushed it because we saw the rain. So we pushed it to 2:30. Of course,
yeah,
the rain didn't come
till later. Like 6
o'clock,
7 o'clock. Yeah, it was like evening. It was an evening shower.
First 6 holes were a little wet out there, but then it dried out, and then it was really humid. So it was a muggy day out there on the course.
It was muggy.
But yeah, overall good weather. Overall good weather.
Sure.
But you probably can't tell that by me wearing this hoodie right now. But we're in the dog days of summer, man. We're in the dog days of summer, and we're gonna be talking a lot of baseball, talk some NBA actually, because a lot of NBA news coming down yesterday, and we're gonna bring on Howard Bender to talk some baseball, talk some more Wimbledon later on in the show. But before we do any of that, make sure you subscribe to the Pickswise YouTube channel and download the Pickswise app, available on the Apple App Store and Google Play. And also subscribe to Wise and Shine. It is the daily Pickswise morning newsletter. All the information you need to start your day of betting, I should say, in one email. And the link is in the description on the YouTube stream right now. I kind of already went through what's on today's show, Jared. So let's just jump right into it. Let's bet it. And let's start with the NBA because the Nets, for the past couple of days, all the news surrounding the Nets, they've been preparing to not only lose Kyrie Irving, but potentially Kevin Durant as well. And then yesterday, the news comes down that Kyrie has decided to exercise his player option and remain with the Nets next season. At least that's what it is right now. What are your initial thoughts? My group chat was blowing up like, oh my gosh, Kyrie, why would he decide to do this? And my thought was, well, there's 30 million reasons why he decided to opt in with the Nets.
37 million, right? I mean, it was a big.
Well, no, because if he had, I think the rumor was there was mutual interest with the Lakers, right? But I think he would have only been able to sign for like 6 million or whatever, and now he's signing on for, I believe it's 36 million.
So the net was
30 would be the 30 million.
Yeah,
right.
That
30
makes
million
sense
reasons
to me.
why you rejoined Brooklyn.
Yeah, and he had that cryptic tweet about how the normal people make the world go round. I mean, I don't know. I don't consider myself normal. I don't consider Kyrie normal. I think we all are.
Well, maybe you're one of the people that's leading us into tomorrow. The quote was,
probably,
normal people keep the world going, but those of us who dare to be different lead us into tomorrow. Maybe you're just leading us into tomorrow, Jared.
I'm leading us either into tomorrow or off some kind of a bridge somewhere. I think the Nets and Kyrie Irving makes sense. He's from here. All of the vibes pushing him here with Kevin Durant makes sense. I think him leaving was, and I understand why he would do his due diligence. I mean, he absolutely should reach out to the Lakers, have his agent reach out, however that process works for him, and figure out what his options are. And I think that process played out, and he realized that the Nets were his best option. And he chose his best option. I don't think there's any debate that unless you just drop him onto the Lakers right now, and even if you do, I still think there's, movement issues, and you just never know how a player on a new team's going to react his first year. I think his best place to win right now is Brooklyn. Like, if you keep that core together with Steve Nash, who's an up-and-coming head coach, and you can add pieces. Now they're over the luxury tax, so we'll see what they can add. But to me, that's the best option for Brooklyn to win a championship right now, because they were toe-to-toe with the Nets. They lost with the Bucks. They lost that series. But to me, they can win that series if things break their way. So I think he made the right decision, even though it's really hard to agree with many things Kyrie does or says when he tweets out crazy random stuff like that. But probably for the best. Basketball-wise, the Nets are probably the best place for him.
I agree. I think the Nets right now, as they're constructed, if they're able to keep, Kevin Durant happy and in Brooklyn as well, I mean, that's a championship starting five, at least in Brooklyn. I mean, they have a little bit of some depth issues, maybe, but I mean, at least
everyone has
core, like you mentioned. That's a team
Everyone
that
has
can contend
championship.
for sure. My question for you, as we look at this kind of from a gambling perspective, right? Nets, I believe, have the fifth best odds to win the title, behind the Bucks, Clippers, Celtics, and Warriors. With so much uncertainty, because Kyrie can still technically be traded, and there are the reports of mutual interest with the Lakers. Do you think that the Nets are worth the price right now, plus 800, or would you buy into the news a little bit maybe and look at a team like the Lakers, who are plus 2,400 right now? If you believe that Kyrie could eventually end up in LA, where do you see any value there, if anywhere?
I struggle. I mean, it's a very valid question, and I think if you are either A, in the know, or B, willing to risk, being on the wrong side of that news, there is value available for one of those teams. If everything stays the way it is in Brooklyn, they will not be the fifth favorite on the board for the entire offseason. I think last year they were the favorite heading into the regular season. And I think their roster, again, is the same. So it's hard to knock them down too much. I think the reason that the odds are where they are now is because of the uncertainty, which is fair. You bake that uncertainty into the odds board. And same can be said about the Lakers. If you put Kyrie on the Lakers, I think they jump the Clippers. I think they maybe not jump the Warriors, but maybe they jump the Suns on the odds board. And there's that hidden value that you talk about in the offseason. The struggles that I have is, A, I'm not in the know. I mean, I'm at the whim of the news cycle just like everybody else. I'm not an insider, even if I am. Woj got the draft wrong. So there's no guarantee that even the insiders are going to get it right until it happens. And B, we're so early in the process. The free agency market hasn't even opened yet. If you are betting the NBA futures market now, you are at the whim of that news cycle. And your bet could turn into mush in a week if a team decides to buy or sell. So I'm playing a very conservative approach with the NBA offseason. I likely won't be betting any futures until we get to maybe even the start of the regular season and beyond that. But I agree that if you are willing to risk being on the right or wrong side of that news, there is value in the NBA futures market right now.
Last one for you before we move on to some tennis here. Do you think Kyrie and Kevin Durant are on the Nets next season? Yeah. One or both?
Both. A lot of this is BS. Like, these guys want to see how much money they can get from other teams. First of all, it's all about money, right? I mean, you want to know how it's all about money? The Minnesota Twins pitching coach, who gets paid $250,000 a year, just took a job as the LSU pitching coach because it's a 300% salary increase to $750K. You want to talk about life and sports being all about the money? A guy just went from the majors to college baseball because it pays him 3 times more. It's all about money with these guys. So if the money lines up and the Nets have deep pockets, I'm very confident KD and Kyrie will both be on the Nets again next year.
I mean, I'm not mad at that move. I mean, that's simple math. I mean, if anyone's going to 3x my salary, I'm gone.
That's what I'm saying, though. But but you're still going from the majors down to college baseball. Like, it is always about the money, bro.
The only thing that I think would be the knock on that is then you got to get back into recruiting, and I have friends that are coaches both in pros and in
you're
college.
In the SEC. Talk about tough
completely
competition.
Different game. Yeah, exactly. SEC baseball matters. That's a completely different game. All right, let's move on. Talk some Wimbledon. Let's talk about this Joker rollover that you got going on. A little bit of fun we're having here. Yesterday, you turned $100 into $101.
Woo!
And now you're rolling that $101 over in Joker's second round matchup, and you potentially win. Was this 103.52? Is that right? With the odds at minus 4,000.
Rolling in the dough.
How are you feeling? How are you feeling with your dollar profit?
Oh man. I can't even get anything off the dollar menu anymore at McDonald's because they don't even have it. It doesn't even exist anymore.
Dollar menu, yeah.
Yeah, the inflation, man. It got the dollar menu too. So the rollover, we went over it yesterday. I'll give the abridged version today. Novak Djokovic before the tournament started to win Wimbledon was minus 120. So if you take that same $100, you would net back $83.33. So the goal is to finish this rollover, experiment with more than $183.33. After yesterday, I'm up to 101. If he wins his second round match tomorrow, very early start time tomorrow, like 5 a.m. Eastern. So get this in now if you are participating in the Joker rollover with us. The Aussie, Thanse Kokonakis. I apologize if I mispronounced your name. minus 4,000. Joker on the money line. It'll net back 103.52. So again, slow and steady. Eventually, the odds will shorten as he gets later in the tournament, and we'll hopefully get over that threshold of 183.33. The reason why I like doing this better, Alex, is because let's say he gets to the final and it's like the toughest matchup and we're well over what we would need to eclipse the 183.33. We can always downsize our risk later on in the tournament and not risk the full money as we go. But again, we'll take it round by round. I'm going to invest fully again, obviously, in him tomorrow at minus 4,000. We expect him to win. And we'll see where we're at tomorrow and then into Thursday. But this is a fun little experiment. And I get asked this question all the time, futures market or rollover, and you really don't know the answer. It's all about the opponents. So we'll see how it goes, and we'll track the results and get back to you.
No Wimbledon plays for me today, but I'm looking at your card right now, and you're siding with Sloane Stephens, even though she's playing somebody who beat her back in April. Interesting. So why don't you go through your Wimbledon card today?
Yeah, so we did hit the Katie Swan bet this morning, which was really nice. Not by a lot. I was getting 3 in the hook there on the game spread, and she lost by 2. So we covered, but it wasn't an easy cover. I was sweating that third set. She did win the first set, which was nice, but she lost the second and third. So yeah, we're gonna go. I'm gonna try to give you one either from Ricky Diamond, our buddy, our tennis guru, or from something that I see and want to bet. And I'm only playing all of my tennis individual bets, half a unit each. Like, I don't cap this market a lot. We're doing this because Wimbledon's on literally during our show. It's fun. It's exciting. This one starts in about an hour or so. So get it in now. Again, you've got about an hour, maybe an hour and a half to get this bet in. But I'm laying 30 cents with Sloane Stephens over Qinwen Zhang. And again, neither of these ladies are grass court specialists. Stephens and Zhang are both hard court specialists. I trust Sloane a little more in the majors because she has experience at Wimbledon, and she's been to a quarterfinal. And her last 2 appearances at Wimbledon, she's been to the 3rd round. So she's had that major experience. She just made it to the quarterfinal at the French Open. Zhang, meanwhile, again, not a grass court specialist. She's lost in the first round in each of her last 2 grass court tournaments. You mentioned that she just beat Sloane Stephens. It did in April. She won a 3-set match over Sloane in Charleston. That was a hard court match. But again, that was the Charleston Open. This is Wimbledon, a little different vibe here. And I trust Stephens, who's been in big matches before. She's won the U.S. Open, to show up in her first round match today against Qinwen Zhang. Half a unit, laying 30 cents. So let's Wimby. The Wimby women. Let's do it.
He mentioned this the other day when we had him on. This grass court, the neutralizer. It's a neutralizer.
100%.
So might have won back in April. Doesn't mean anything later on today. All right, let's bring on Howard Bender, Fantasy Alarm, and talk some baseball as we get ready for a big day on the diamond. But Howard, before we get into today's games, I want to talk through some futures with you for a quick second. First of all, thanks for joining us. Always a pleasure.
Morning, Howard.
Bless us with
your
presence.
Morning, boys. Thanks for having me.
Feeling?
Always a pleasure.
Yeah. All right. Well, the Phillies. Let's talk about the Phillies because, Bryce Harper out indefinitely with that broken thumb. Right now, the Phillies plus 110 to make the playoffs. Is this a team that you see with a roster strong enough with Harper's health up in the air to make a playoff push?
I mean, it's real tough, right? Even with the expanded playoffs and 6 teams making it in the NL, I'm still kind of worried about this situation here. Harper will take some time off, but I think he's going to need some regular rest in there. So I do think that the Phillies actually need to get themselves another bat in there. I don't necessarily know if Rhys Hoskins, Nick Castellanos, and Kyle Schwarber alone can do this. And especially when you're talking about a team that's defense is just absolutely atrocious. So, the pitching has been good, not great. The deeper you get into their rotation, the more question marks there are. I think they're right there on the cusp. I mean, for plus odds, you could sprinkle a little bit on there, but with the way Milwaukee and St. Louis are battling back and forth in the Central and how top heavy that division is. And then you're looking at, a potential surge by the Giants late to join the Dodgers and the Padres here. It could be a little tough for the Phillies to make a move past the Mets and the Braves. So I'm a little concerned for Philly, actually.
Yeah.
This is a fantastic question, Justin, that you put in the rundown this morning. I'm glad that you did. The next question we're going to ask you, Howard. So the American League Central is the only division right now on the board without an odds-on favorite. And for our audience out there, odds-on means minus money. So there's a difference between being the favorite, which there is a favorite, obviously, in the American League Central, but there's not an odds-on favorite, which at this stage of the season, frankly, is pretty surprising. And I think it shows just how tight this division is. Twins right now, I think, would be my pick. Right now, I'm seeing at MGM, they're plus 140. White Sox plus 170. The Guards are plus 240. I think it's fair to eliminate the Tigers and the Royals. Howard, if you had to pick one of those five, I mean, I guess you're free and clear to pick the Tigers and the Royals if you'd like, but I'm guessing you're going to pick one of the first three teams that I named. Please enlighten me on your American League Central selection.
No, I think you mispronounced the word horrendous by saying tight. I mean, what's going on in the Central right now? I mean, listen, I'll lean towards the Twins for the time being. The Guardians need a bat. They need somebody else in there to help out Jose Ramirez. I do like some of their pitching. Tristan McKenzie's start against the Twins notwithstanding yesterday, but the Guardians are just, I think they're lacking in some good power for this lineup, especially if they're going to want to compete with the rest of the teams. The Twins seem to be the most balanced out of this group. They've got good pitching. They've got solid defense. They've got some bats. They're getting some guys back off of the IL. We're starting to see some guys. Listen, I told you guys the last time I was here, if Byron Buxton stays healthy, I'll keep sprinkling that plus 5,000 on him to win the MVP, because I think that's really, we're kind of looking at that. I picked the White Sox early on in the season, before the season started. I picked the White Sox to win this division. I picked Lucas Giolito to win the Cy Young. You can flush all of those right down the toilet right now without like a really significant second half push. And, we'll see what happens when Eloy Jimenez comes back. We'll see if Giolito can turn it around, because listen, right now you're staying competitive with smoke and mirrors, and Johnny Cueto is your, is one of your better starters here. For the same token, the Twins, Devin Smeltzer. Really? Are we going to rely on Smeltzer? I'm going to go with the balance right now. I'm going to take the quote unquote favorite with the Twins. But I think all three of these teams need to be incredibly active come the trade deadline. And at the end of July, I think we'll have a little bit clearer of a picture as to who's making the run and who isn't.
Howard, I'm looking at your card right now for today's games. You got a comment in here for Jared. This one's for Jared in this Phillies Braves no run first inning. Why don't you? What am I missing here? Why is that one for Jared? And that one didn't make my card, but I was very interested in that game, so I want to hear your reasoning.
Well, it went for Jared because he and Lauren, the last time I was here, were going bonkers over the Nerfies and the Yerfies, and I got kind of turned on by it that I brought Jared on to the Fantasy Alarm Show on Friday last week, and he threw a Nerfie and a Yerfie at us. Both hit. Jim Bowden went was absolutely bonkers over it and was like in heaven. I mean, he was like, hey, Chapter 11, here we come. But for better or for worse, these so Nerfies and Yerfies are actually kind of fun to look at. So when I'm Zach Wheeler against Charlie Morton, Morton's really turned a corner right now. We love Wheeler. Neither offense has been particularly potent recently. And, well, as Jared says, what do I want to do? Bet the total on this game and put bullpens into it? Nah, let's play it safe. Let's go with the top starters here. And we'll take the Nerfie for Phillies against the Braves. I think I got it at like minus 140 on DK Sportsbook. It's a little juicy, but hey, it's my first Nerfie.
Yeah, it's definitely
minus 140. I already know what Jared's gonna say.
Juicy. I don't mind the handicap at all, and I'm glad that you mentioned Morton's turned a corner, because when you look at the full season data, he's 2-5 on the road this year with Nerfy. So he's made 7 road starts. He's allowed a run in the first inning in 5 of them. That's a little scary to lay 40 cents on that. But you said he's turned a corner. So a lot of times recent form is not taken into account with the full season data. And I will say the odds have moved a little bit towards the Nerfy this morning. So while it's a little too rich for my blood, Howard, I support the pick because I do think the recent form of Charlie Morton is not being accounted for here. And that, I think, is why this Nerfy has a chance. But I don't think I would lay 30 cents on a Nerfy because I've seen some weird shit with these.
You're my first text mid-show now today.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. I hope it is. I do.
We're talking about Bryce Harper. There's gonna be someone new in that 3 spot. So that could
yeah, and the Phillies have been a Nerfy team lately. I think they've hit 6 straight. Yep. So the trend sometimes is your friend with these Nerfies because these teams they go into these holes in the first inning, and it's the same 3 guys leading off every time. So might be onto something here, Bender. Might be bending your way towards a Nerfy win.
Don't score a lot in the first inning.
What you did there.
All right, Howard, why don't you go through the rest of your card? What else you got for us?
What else do I have for you guys today? I don't even remember what my earlier.
Take a look. Hold on, I'll tee you up.
I got you.
You got the Giants laying a 1.5 run line.
Giants run line and another one for Jared. Padres Diamondbacks on the under here. All right, I'll start with the one that Jared absolutely hates, and that's the Padres and the Diamondbacks. But listen, we saw Zach Gallen and we saw Sean Manaea do battle last week as well. Now, sometimes, you want to, kind of avoid that situation here when a pitcher is facing the same team for 2 starts in a row. I mean, have we seen Arizona's offense right now? I mean, it is absolutely disgusting. Their team WOBA is like somewhere in like the 270 range over their past week. They've been struggling a lot lately to plate runs. So I'm okay with Sean Manaea against them over there. Now you're taking a look at Zach Gallen going up against San Diego. And again, I still love, you take Manny Machado's bat out of that lineup. He's missed how many games now? And he really did not look good as far as, trying to stretch things out and in warmups. And I think that he ends up missing this game yet again. And the Padres lineup has just not been strong. Now, yes, could this fall into some bullpen mayhem here towards the tail end because Arizona's bullpen has been cockapoo-poo lately? Yeah. Yes, I'm running the risk here. But I think that if Manaea and Gallen, these are 2 pitchers who I absolutely loved coming into the season, despite Gallen's injury from last year, I'm a big fan of both these guys. And I always think that good pitching neutralizes good hitting. And now we're talking about mediocre hitting going up against good pitching. So I'm going to take that under 7.5 runs. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that the bullpens don't screw me over again. And we'll go from there. As far as the Giants, -1.5 on the run line here. I mean, listen, Rodon has looked absolutely spectacular. Spectacular. Do I have concerns in the second half about whether or not his shoulder holds up? Maybe, but that's not a concern for today. Tariq Skubal, on the other hand, Giants have been doing very, very well against left-handed pitching. I think they're 6-2 in their last 8 starts against Southpaws this season. Not to mention the fact that Skubal, now in his last 3 starts, I mean, he's been giving up some runs. He's been getting a little shaky. That offense still hasn't been able to gel for Detroit. So I'm going to take that chance there that the Giants at least win this one by 2, and I like the run line.
I don't mind that at all. Skubal, right, anytime a young pitcher goes to, what is it? It's not Pack. What was his name in San Francisco's ballpark? It's not, what is it, Oracle these days?
Oh, now? Yeah, I believe it's Oracle now.
Oracle. And that ballpark is a house of horrors for rookies and like new pitchers. It's just so funky in the wind, and it's the climate there. San Francisco's like one of the most unique road environments to go to, I think. So that I like fading it. I'm assuming Skubal's never pitched there before. He's a Tiger. He's in his second year, right?
I don't think he has. I mean, listen,
Yeah.
one of the things that everybody always talks about with the Bay Area, especially in the summertime, is that nighttime. You get that breeze coming in off the bay, you get the damp air, and it kind of
Yeah.
suppresses some power in a lot of ways. But listen, maybe there's no such thing as global warming, but damn, it gets hot here now. The summers are not like what they used to be. We used to have it where in the Bay Area, your summertime was September, October.
Yeah.
I'm sweating my off on a daily basis right now, and we still haven't flipped the calendar to July.
Jared, let's save the Nerfy that we're both on for our play of the day. Let's save that.
Sure.
But why don't you walk this, Howard? You think you enjoyed the Nerfy talk? Let's get into the walk this way parlay. And Jared, take us through that, and then your walk plays that you're also in for.
I'll let Howard choose first. Howard, what would you rather me do first? A 3-team parlay with all walks props, or just 2 individual walks props? What are you interested in hearing about first?
I want the individual first, so that the parlay can be like the main course. Come on,
love that, Howard. You're a wizard, bud. All right,
I'm pretty sure
when I was on the. I'm pretty sure when I was on the show last week, we did talk about Carlos Carrasco with you. Well, we're back on the Carrasco. Yeah, and that was against, I forget who he was facing.
You were on Taijuan Walker and Luis Severino.
That's right. It was Taijuan Walker. That's right. It was not Carrasco. You know what? The Mets pitchers actually have been pretty good walk numbers for us this year. So we're gonna take. We're on Carrasco again tonight. Over 1.5 walks, plus 120. They're facing the Astros at home. Now, Carrasco's hit rate's under 50% this year, 43% to be exact. But he's hit 2 in a row, and 3 of his last 5, including his last start, which was at the Astros, where he went over 1.5. So, the fact that he just faced the Astros and went over, I mean, to me, the second time you face a pitcher in the span of a week, you know the stuff better, you're more patient, you understand, you're waiting for your pitch. And again, this Astros lineup, that's the real crux of this handicap. Well above average against walk rate, against righties this year with their walk rate, over 10%. And how about this? In the month of June, 13 out of 16 right-handed starters have gone over 1.5 walks against the Astros. I mean, you talk about a lineup that is figuring things out. I think Houston's the best team in the American League. If I had to pick one team to go to the World Series right now from the American League, it would be the Astros. And I'm a big fan of, even though I'm a Yankees fan at heart, I'm a very big fan of what this organization has done, and they continue to reload, and their lineup is just absolutely stacked. Robbie Ray over 1.5 against the Orioles. This is a late-night game. Ray is at home tonight. 60% hit rate on the year, 53% if you include last season. So again, the big sample size is telling me if I'm getting plus 110, which is what this price is over at Bet365, I'm on the right side of the 50-yard line here in terms of the odds. And this Orioles lineup, listen, they're under 500 for the year, but they have been well above average in a lot of metrics that we would have expected, including walk rate, 9% over the last 30 days. And left-handed starters, 13-12 to the over this season against Baltimore. So again, over 500. I'm on the right side of the odds here at plus 110. So Carrasco and Ray, those are the solo bets, both at plus money. I'm very confident we're going to go at least 1-1 here. And since they're both at plus money, that'll be a profitable night for us. All right, now let's get into the parlay. It's plus 310 on the odds over at DraftKings. Excuse me, wait. I might have gotten those odds wrong. I think it might be plus 325. Yes, sorry. Plus 325. Give myself a little extra juice there. Jonathan Heasley.
He's supposed to sing for you right now? Is he not supposed to, like?
Yeah, you want to sing? Walk this way.
Hold on, I need to get some more room temperature water in me before we get the.
I need some.
Yeah, it's all about the water. Okay. That's what's gonna make the difference with your voice, right?
Walk this way.
Lauren, damn! That a little bit,
right?
Oh, damn!
A little falsetto action there. Give it to me, babe. Oh, other side. There we go.
Yo, that means.
Boom.
That means.
Don't tell Lauren I did that because I think that my voice is better than Lauren, but we don't need it. We can just keep that here, boys.
Oh,
you know what?
LJ's got
confirm
this.
That.
Yeah, I think that might be we should have a LBI American Idol. That would be actually really fun. That would be really fun, actually. We should totally do that. So I'll be honest. I'm a little snake bitten with the walk this way parlays. Last night we lost one out of the three by the hook, and the other two were hits. So I'm on a little bit of a slide right now. We've dropped 4 in a row, but we've built up enough of a cushion that we're still up on this in our little experiment. We've been doing these for about a month now, and I've been betting 1 parlay a day for a month, and I'm up 3 units. So don't give me the malarkey that you can't win hitting parlays. If you're disciplined and you stick to your guns, if you do it over time, you can make this a fun part of your bankroll. But obviously, you don't want to go nuts here. Half a unit only. Jonathan Heasley under 2.5. Royals, Rangers. He's gone under this in 3 straight. The Rangers are a bottom 10 walk rate team. Charlie Morton, your boy, Uncle Charlie, over 1.5 against the Phillies. He's gone under in 3 straight, and you're right, Howard. He has turned a corner with his control, but the last time he went under 1.5 walks in 3 straight games, he followed that up with 5 walks in his next 2. So with Morton, I think it's a little bit of ebb and flow, and we've had the ebb. Now it's time for the flow, and the Phillies are a high walk rate team, so I feel confident there, and it's on the road where Morton's walk rate increases. And then we'll finish with Sean Manaea over 1.5 at Arizona. Almost an 80% hit rate for Manaea this year. He has been very wild with his command. And Arizona, surprising, maybe not surprising, top 5 walk rate against righties in the month of June. So trending up are the Snakes. So I'll give it to you one more time. Manaea over 1.5. Morton over 1.5. Heasley under 2.5. We are getting plus 325 on the walk this way parlay, which really needs a win tonight. So let's hope we get on the board.
All right, I'm going in on that. As soon as I'm out of here, I'm going to go and I'm going to throw half a unit on my walk this way parlay.
On the parlay, I like that.
Wow, I'm losing the American.
You got to get some water. No. You need some water in you before you attempt.
I need the water first. All right, hold on.
Yeah. Before you hit that.
How does energy drink do with that?
Walk this way. Yeah, I don't have it.
Walk this way.
Howard is the bass. Howard is the bass, bringing up the.
There we go.
Walk this way.
The all Pickswise choir, right? We should be the next on America's Got Talent.
Oh my gosh, Howard Bender, Fantasy LARP. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, we'll talk to you soon.
AG, Jared, always a pleasure. Thanks so much for having me, guys.
Love it, brother. Oh wow, Zeno's in the chat right now.
Zeno's in the chat chirping me. Look. He's chirping me, and you know that he's going to hop in there. He said he's going to tell Lauren what I said about having.
Oh, he's going to tattletale on you?
I'll tell Lauren.
Yeah, right? You've never been afraid to chirp anyone in your whole life. Come on.
All right, Jared, before we get to our plays of the day and wrap this thing up, any 3-star plays on the site?
Yeah, there's a couple today. Couple baseball plays, actually. And Diane's got her, and I'm pretty sure we'll hear from Diane tomorrow about the John Deere, so I won't mention that one. But Mark Lammy's got a total Braves Phillies, and Tanner McGrath has a side bet in the very prestigious Pirates Nationals game tonight. Game of the night, right? No, listen, if there's value on the board, it's an underdog too, which is always should catch your fancy for a 3-star bet. So, yeah, and Ricky's got his tennis bets on there. I mean, listen, if you're going to Pickswise.com and you're not finding some free and sharp advice, then you're not going to the right Pickswise.com. So hit it up.
Yep. All right, and we are this rarely happens. It happens sometimes, but it hasn't happened. I feel like in a while. We are on the same play for our play of the day tonight. So that means it has to go, right? It has to hit.
Has to.
We're going to Coors Field. Dodgers, Rockies, Nerfy. You got a better price this morning. You got plus 145. I saw plus 114 on FanDuel when I locked it in, or I shouldn't say locked it in. When I saw it, because you can't lock in mobile bets in Maryland yet. Thank you, Governor Larry Hogan. Let's get that correct. I mean, we only passed this bill in like 2020, and we're in 2022 and still can't mobile bet, but that's neither here nor there. We're both on the Rockies, Dodgers, Nerfy at plus money. I'll give you a couple tidbits, then you kind of let me know what you're thinking as well, sure, and your handicap behind it. I'm looking at this. The Dodgers have played 4 games at Coors Field this season, right? And you think Dodgers, high-powered offense, Coors Field, got to be runs. There have been no runs in the first inning in any of those 4 games. The Rockies have Kyle Freeland on the bump tonight. The last 5 home starts, only given up a run in the first inning in 1 of those games. And then Clayton Kershaw for the Dodgers doing what he does. only gave up 1 run in his last start. He's dialed in. I'm just looking at this, and everything is telling me Nerfy, and I'm getting it at. I saw plus 114, plus 145 to no brainer. I believe you said at Caesars it was plus 130 before the show.
Yeah.
So there's definitely some price variance. So shop around, but I mean, I really do love this bet.
Yeah, lots of price. I mean, I'll be honest, it's down to plus 110 at MGM now. Now, I'm not saying I'm the one that moved the market. That's not what I'm saying. But I think plus 145 was a very bad price. And I saw someone tweeted at me this morning that he also got plus 145 at MGM this morning. I betted it. I mean, I'm up early with the dog, so I'm up at 6 a.m. I bet it at like 6:50. And then when we logged on at 9:30, it was zoomed all the way down to plus 110. And then you're right, plus 114 at FanDuel. But again, you can go on Caesars right now and bet a plus 130 as I utter these words to you. So that's still a really good price. Coors Field, your fee is above 500 this year, as you would expect, but down 5.7 units. So to me, if we want to maximize the most amount of, now that we've done our initial due diligence and we've made the established data points that the Nerfy at Coors Field, despite the fact that it's under 500, is still a profitable venture. Now I feel confident with upping my intensity, meaning I didn't bet the Nerfy at Coors Field every night, but it's going to take a pretty compelling reason for me not to bet it now, especially at a price of 120, 130, 140, 145. This game especially, I have a very compelling reason to bet it. Clayton Kershaw hasn't given up a run in the first inning all season. 8-0, 5-0 on the road. Incredible data for him in the first inning this year. Under 1 whip, walk rate below 10, all the bells and whistles we want, experience. He's done it all at Coors Field. And I feel very good about the Dodgers' end of the bargain. Now, what about the offenses? Well, the Dodgers didn't score last night. You mentioned it. They've been ice cold. They've only scored in the first inning 3 times in their last 16 games and 0 in their last 6 games. Colorado was the team that ruined it for us last night. Some flukiness. Ground ball up the middle. It goes off Trey Turner's glove. The leadoff man's able to get all the way to second base on what should have been an infield single at max or even an out. And then a 2-out RBI single by CJ Cron on a pitch that was not a good pitch. Yeah, it was a tough beat because I thought we put up a good fight with that Nerfy, but it died an honorable death. We will go back to the well again tonight at plus 145. And again, if you combine the Nerfy rates of these pitchers, Freeland's 10-4, Kershaw's 8-0, and then you compare it to what the odds are of the bet, on my sheet here, based off the formula that I use, I'm seeing a 50% plus EV bet here. Now, again, there's a little bit of margin for error there, so it's probably not truly 50%. It's probably like 20 or 30%. But still, that's a really good edge to have on a bet that is a 6-out wager. And again, we're going to keep betting these Nerfies at Coors Field until we get a reason not to. At least the data tells us a reason not to. And I don't feel like the data is telling us not to do that tonight. So we're back on the bandwagon. Nerfy at Coors Field for plus 145. Dodgers, Rockies. We sweat it out with you later, Blaze.
I'm going to be in the group chat later on because we got Zeno here still chirping at me saying that he's just here to fade my play today. So he's fading you as well. So that means we got to put it all in there.
He wanted to give out the Nerfy at Coors Field yesterday, and he got upset because I got in the rundown first.
He's just a troll. When will you learn? Zeno is just a troll. He's just here to troll. But I'm going to chirp him.
Go spend time with your family, Mark. You're on vacation, for Christ's sakes.
Well, he'll have plenty of time. He just has to watch 6 outs. He just has to watch 6 outs. So that's what he likes to do. He doesn't have to watch the whole game. He just needs 6 outs. And then
I'm talking right now. He's watching our show. He should be having breakfast with his kids.
No, look, it's 10:30. He's probably already. The kids are probably already thrown in the pool somewhere. You know what I mean? Like he's
on Long Island, right? He's got that pool.
Yeah. He's already. He's already sent the kids out somewhere. Yeah, they're out of his hair for sure. All right, well, that'll do it for us today. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Good luck with all your plays, unless your name's Mark Zeno and you're fading our play of the day. You go with the Yerfy and that Dodgers Rockies game. But if you're not, good luck with your plays. We'll be back tomorrow morning.